Taking a closer look at a topic that has sparked debate in school districts, state capitals, and even the White House.
Yeah, we're talking diversity, equity, and inclusion, better known as DEI. President Trump has pushed to eliminate DEI programs throughout the federal government and in schools that receive federal funding. He brought it up just last month during the Great American State Fair rally on the National Mall.
Here at home, we abolished DEI across the entire federal government. We don't want DEI. And we got critical race theory out of our schools. And I signed the largest expansion of school choice in history. And we have begun the process of abolishing the Federal Department of Education. Thank you, Linda. Because we're sending education back to the states where it belongs.
So now that it's in the hands of states, North Carolina is making changes of its own after lawmakers overrode Governor Josh Stein's veto. A new law limiting DEI in public schools is officially on the books ahead of the new school year. So what exactly changes this fall? And maybe just as importantly, what doesn't? Good question. Let's take a closer look.
Yeah, let's do that. The new law says public schools can no longer operate offices or departments dedicated to DEI. Schools also cannot require certain DEI-related training for teachers and staff. And districts cannot require students or employees to affirm what the law calls divisive concepts. Those include ideas such as one race being inherently superior to another, or an individual being responsible for actions committed in the past by members of the same race or sex. But one of the biggest questions parents and teachers have raised about all of this is, what happens to our history lessons? Can schools still teach about, say, slavery, the civil rights movement, the Holocaust? Well, according to the law itself, the answer to that is yes. The legislation specifically protects instruction involving difficult history and historical oppression involving race, ethnicity, and religion. State education leaders say that distinction is important.
I think there are going to be genuine questions about how educators are to apply the law. In one portion of the law, it does specifically restrict instruction on certain concepts, but in another part of the law, it also expressly and appropriately preserves the teaching of certain concepts, including difficult history, including historical oppression of people based on characteristics such as race and ethnicity and religion.
That is State Superintendent Mo Green. He says because of this law change, the Department of Public Instruction plans to issue guidance before students return to class next month. The goal is to help districts understand exactly where the new boundaries are. All
right, so what happens next? Well, according to the department, school districts across North Carolina have until September 1st to certify they are complying with the law. The state will then submit a statewide compliance report to lawmakers by January. For parents and students, the biggest takeaway right now is this. Education leaders say the history itself is not changing, but the rules surrounding how schools approach some conversations about race, identity, and inequity are.
Exactly where those new lines are drawn is something education leaders say they are still working to define before the first day of school.